This memo appears to have been written for a morning meeting on January 6th that Pence had with his team. In the 48 hours before the Electoral College certification, his lawyers were scrambling to present as much information to him as possible in a clear way that he would be able to share with others, so he would be able to explain to the American public why he was doing what he was doing. And remember, these legal issues have never really been hot topics before because nothing like this has ever happened. So Greg Jacob and the other folks working directly under Pence were processing complex legal and historical precedents and trying to package them in a way that would make sense to people who just weren't major law nerds. This three-page memo that you just put up on screen is the product of that work, and it very much lays out the final case that Greg Jacob and other folks in the vice president's legal team made against John Eastman's argument that Pence, of course, should try to overturn the election results by sending these electors back to the state. There's perhaps a cherry on top to this memo. Greg Jacob says, first, it would be illegal, as Eastman concedes. He says it would be unconstitutional. But he also says even if Pence were to play ball with Eastman's proposal, it wouldn't have worked because the judiciary wasn't on board with it. The state legislatures that Eastman thought were going to be so helpful, they weren't even on board with it at that point in the process. And so what Greg Jacobs says is all this would have done would have essentially pitted Mike Pence against the rest of the country, setting off a crazy stand-up with no guarantee whatsoever of success. You could see how it was a pretty easy decision on Pence's part not to play ball with these arguments, even though they were arguments that were being made on behalf of President Trump himself.
I want to read the way you wrote it because I have a question about it, Betsy. You wrote, if the vice president implemented Professor Eastman's proposal, he would likely lose in court. In a best-case scenario in which the courts refused to get involved, the vice president would likely find himself in an isolated standoff against both houses of Congress, as well as most or all of the applicable state legislatures, with no neutral arbiter available to break the impasse. That almost sounds like the definition of a constitutional crisis.
No question. That's exactly what it would have been. And that's the way that Greg Jacob is laying it out. Courts don't like getting involved in political issues. To the greatest extent possible, they do not want to come in. These judges don't want to be referees on the outcomes of elections. So what Jacob is saying is if the courts didn't magically change their mind and decide to bail out Eastman and Trump, then you would have this crazy standoff, the vice president on an island by himself with the president facing down state legislatures and Congress. It would have been a crazy, unprecedented, unsustainable legal fight. It wasn't something that made sense. It wasn't something that was rational. That's the case that Greg Jacob was making, and we expect him to flesh that out in this hearing a little bit later today.